morning, friends. Welcome to Insights Encyclopedia. Today, in this lecture, we are going to discuss Chapter 6 from Class 6 NCRT History. So, the name of the chapter is Kingdom, Kings, and an Early Republic. So, in this chapter, we are dealing with the kingdoms and the king, how the kingdom is formed and how the kings are ruled, and the republics, what are the freedoms we get in the earlier times. So the chapter begins with an election day story. So here a boy named Sankaran woke up and see his grandfather, parents or grandfather are ready to go and vote. So they wanted to be the first to reach the polling booth. Why? Sankaran wondered, wanted to know why they were so excited to cast their vote. Somewhat impatiently, his grandfather explained, we can choose our own rules today. So the sentence grandfather told, we can choose our own rules today. So it means that we can choose our favorable government today. We have got the chance to choose our government. How the people, who are the people who made a rule for us, is in on our hands. What in later or ancient time, what are the process of the rules that are imposed on us. So this is we are going to discuss in this chapter. How some men became rulers. So this is the selection of rulers, how they became. Some of the Raja were read about in chapter 5 were probably chosen by the Jana. So in chapter 5 you read some about the Rajas. And so Raja chosen by the Jana. And what around 300 years ago, we tend find some changes taking place in the way in which Raja were chosen. So now the time to change in the procedure of the choosing of the Rajas or kings. And the Ashwamedh Yagya or horse sacrifice was one some rituals in which the horse was left to wander freely and in the guarded with the sun with the Raja's men. If in any territory the horse is restricted from anyone, so the Raja will attack on that person, on that kingdom, and acquire that place. And if the other territory not restrict him, that means they recognize their supremacy over them. So here the important one is Varnas system. So what are the Varnas? So the first Veda is Rig Veda, and later then the books are also composed in North India. So the other Vedas are the Samved, Yajurved, Atharvaveda, the three other Vedas. So in which all the Vedas the influences of the priest class. Now there are many group of society where the priest was in power or dominance. So the classes are priest, warriors, farmers, herders, traders, craft person, laborer, fishing, folk, and forest people. So the priest group classified Varna in four types. So the first one was that of Brahmins. So the first one is of themselves, priest. Brahmins were accepted to study and teach the Vedas, perform sacrifice and receive gifts. And the second one is place where the rulers, also known as Kshatriya, they were expected to fight battles and protect people. So they are a protector of the people. Third were the Bishes or the Vaisyas. They were expected to be farmers, herders, and traders. Both the Kshatriya and the Vaisya could perform sacrifice. And the twist is both Kshatriya and the Vaisya can perform sacrifice, but the fourth one does not perform any sacrifice. The last were the Sudras, who had to serve the other three groups and could not perform any rituals. They are exempted from the ritual performing. Often, bowmen were also grouped with the Sudras. Both bowmen and Sudra were not allowed to study the Vedas. So the condition of the bowman is also worsened after the emergence of the priest class. Some kings thought they were superior to the priest. These are the thoughts of the other people. Some thought they were superior to the priest. Others felt that birth could not be a basis of deciding which Varna pupil belonged to. And this is the best way, I think. That Varna does not decide the class of the pupil. Besides, some people felt that there should be no difference amongst pupils based on occupation. Others felt that everybody should be able to perform rituals. Okay. And other condemned the practice of untouchability. Also, there were many areas in the subcontinent, such as the Northeast. So, this is the important area of the Northeast, where social and economic differences were not very sharp and where the influence of the priest were limited. So, Northeast area is considered a far foremost area from the central India. It has the less influence of the Rajas or the Janaj or the Janpads. In the Northeast, we are going to see, but the rules that are there present, they are the somehow what good or even better from the central India in the in history. So what are the Janpads? We are going to discuss about Janpads. So you know the Janaji Raja who performed these big sacrifices were not now recognized as being Raja. राजा बन गया वो of Janpada rather than Janaj. So there is a difference. Janaj are the chosen people from the community. But they cannot perform any big sacrifice. What if they perform now big sacrifice? So they are known as Rajas of Janpad. So now they have their own territory. These Janpadas, such as the Purana Kila in Delhi, is a Janpad. Hastinapur near Meerut and Atanji Khera near Etah. The last two are in Uttar Pradesh. And you notice that the picture. So this is a painted graveware. Plates and bowls are the most common vessels made of painted graveware. These are extremely fine to touch with a nice smooth surface. They have the nice smooth surface. Perhaps these were on special occasion for important people and to serve special food. So this is the important vessels. They were also grew a variety of crops in Janpad. Rice, wheat, barley, pulses, sugar cane, sesame and mustard are the important one. So what are now Mahajanpada? So Mahajanpad means Janpad which is more important. They become Maha. These seen around 2500 years ago. So there are the in map there are some important Mahajanpadas such as Gandhara, whose capital Taxila, Avanti Ujjain, Hastinapur Panchal, Kosala Kosambi, Rajgriha Magadha Bajji, Vaisali Anga. So you remember these places where are they in map or in real map, and also the given rivers are also important. So read them patiently. Forts are built to protect the territory now because they are building territory. So this is the fortification wall of Kosambi. This is the example of fortification. So this picture is a remain wall of made of brick found near present Allahabad in Uttar Pradesh. Apart, it is probably built around 2500 years ago. So this is the 2500 years ago built wall. So now we are going to see the taxes. How are the system of the taxes? So there are the two. The rulers of the Mahajanpadas were building huge forts, so they need tax, and maintaining big armies. Two regions for that the tax are collected, and they needed officials to collect these. So instead of depending on occasional gifts brought by people, as in the case of the Raja or the Janpadas, they started collecting regular tax. So this is the thing that is important, that now they require a fixed amount of tax regularly to maintain the their kingdom. Previously, their work will be done on occasional gifts. They manage that. So these are the points. Taxes on crops were most important, and that was 1/6 of what was produced. This was known as bhaga or a share. So bhaga is 1/6. There were taxes on craft persons as well. These could be in the form of labor. For example, a beaver or a smith may have had to work for a day every month for the king. So the craft persons can have to pay the taxes. Herders were also expected to pay tax in the form of animal and animal produce. So herders have to fetch with milk or the meat to the kingdom. There were also tax on goods that were brought and sold through trade. So traders have also maintained a tax. And hunters and gatherers also had to provide forested produce to the Rajas. So they are also not lived. That's the taxation system. Changes in agriculture. So what are the changes? So now the iron use is in regular basis or in daily use. So growing usually is iron plowshares. So iron is now hand to hand for pupil. Second, pupil begin transplanting paddy. So now the transplanting process is beginning. Slave men and bowmen, dasa or dasis are landless agriculture laborers. Kamkaraj had to do this work. So the landowner is a big farmer or a merchant. He or she does not work on their land own. So he acquires some slave men and women. Dasaj and dasis were called. So they work on their field. So now get a closer look on Magad. How the Magad people were ruling their territory. Magad is a important Mahajanpada in about 200 years ago. It's about 200 years ago. Many rivers are flowing through Magad that are Ganga and Son. This was important because of transport, have the transport system, but the supplies making land fertile. So the two river or the Doab which formed here. So their area is better for transportation system, river transportation. Water supply is also maintained there, and the land is also fertile. Magad had two very important rulers, Bimbisar and Ajatasattu. So these are the important ruler of the Magad, who were possibly meant to conquer other Janpadas. Mahapadananda was another important ruler. He extended his control up to the northwest part of the subcontinent. Rajgriha, presently Rajgir, in Bihar was the capital of Magad for several years. So Rajgriha is a capital. Later the capital was shifted to Patliputra, presently Patna. So more than 2300 years ago, a ruler named Alexander the Great, who lived in Macedonia and Europe, wanted to become a world conqueror. So he is on the voyage of the world conqueror. Of course, he did not conquer the world, but did conquer parts of Egypt and West Asia, and came to India subcontinent also, reaching up to the bank of the Bias. When he wanted to march further eastward, his soldiers refused. So his soldiers refused, and they were scared as they had heard that the rulers of India had the vast army of foot soldiers, chariots, and elephants. So they are defeated. They get defeated from the fear. They heard about the rulers of the India that have the far most army of foot soldiers, chariot, and the vast army of the elephants. So this is the thing. And the closer look on Bajji also. So before reaching this is the important part. Gana. What is Gana? It is used for a group that has many members. Gana means many members, and Sangha. So these are the simple and the same resembling words, Gana and Sangha. Sangha means organization or association. Sangha is organization, and Ganaya many members or the group of many members. So while Magad became a powerful kingdom, Bajji with its capital at Baisali, Bihar was under different form of government known as Gana or Sangha. So the Magad is a kingdom, but the Bajji is Gana or Sangha. It is in the form of Gana or Sangha. Here the important one is both Buddha and Mahavira belong to the Ganaj or Sangha. Some of the most vivid description of the life in the Sangha can be found in Buddhist books. So, for the reference of the Sangha or the Gana, you find in Buddhist books. And the key factors, keywords of this are these one, and these are the simple like Raja, Ashwamedh Yagya, Varna, Janpad, and Mahajanpad, fortification of force, army, tax, transplantation, Gana and Sangha, democracy. So this account is of Ajatasattu and the Bajjis. So this is an account of the Bajjis from the Digha Nikaya, a famous Buddhist book, which contains some of the speech of the Buddha. These were written down around 2000 and 300 years ago. Ajatasattu wanted to attack the Bajjis. He sent his minister named Besakara to the Buddha to get his advice on the matter. So the Buddha asked whether the Bajji meet frequently in full assemblies. When he heard that they did, he replied that the Bajji would continue to prosper as long as. So the one important thing that we miss in that paragraph is in Gana or Sangha there were not one but many rulers. First of all, because these are the group of members or the organization. Even sometimes, even when thousands of men rule together, so there can be a thousands of rulers. Each one was known as the Raja, and these Raja perform rituals together. They also meet in assemblies. They decided what to be done now through discussion and debate. So, in a sense, you can assemble this as the parliamentary system. Today, we have the parliament and the Rajya Sabha, Lok Sabha in the two parts, and all together have the conscience on a matter to finalize or to bring a rule or to came within effect. So, for example, if they were attacked by an enemy, they meet to discuss what should be done to meet the threat. So, they had the discussion. However, Bowman, Dasa and Karamkaraj could not participate in these assembly. So this is a drawback of this assembly. So what are the points that the Buddha had taken out? They held full and frequent public assemblies. They meet and acted together. They followed established rule. They respect, support and listened to elders. Bajji women were not held to force or capture. Chaityas, local shrines were maintained in both towns and villages. Bhais saints who followed different beliefs were respected and allowed to enter and leave the country freely. So these are the practices that Bajjis are following. So if they discontinue these practices, then the Ajatasattu had the favor to control the Bajji or capture the Bajji. So this is the question: in what ways was the Bajji Sangha different from the other Mahajanpadas? Try and list at least 3 differences. So you can easily maintain some differences that Mahajanpada is ruled by one ruler. It's a monarchy. But the Bajji is not in a form of monarchy, and the monarchy and the other differences are of tax collection. That here kingdom Raja has the free for the tax collection. How he wants to collect is in his own hands. But in Bajji, it's only group of the people who decide. So make some 3 or 5 differences on your own. And in the elsewhere part, we have now find Greece and Athens in your atlas. So we are now going to the Greece and Athens. So it's around 2500 years ago. The people of Athens set up a form of government which was called a democracy, which lasted for about 200 years ago. So this is the 200 years ago democracy, and the democracy how it is earlier democracy. So are the some points for that. First of all free men over the age of 30 were recognized as full citizens. So for full citizens you must be of 30 years. There was an assembly that met at least 40 times a year to decide on important matters. So the number of the assembly meetings in a year is 40 times or more. All citizens could attend these meetings. So attendance can anyone attend. Appointment of many positions were made through lottery. All those who wanted to be chosen gave in their name and then some were selected through lottery. So the lottery system is in democracy. Citizens were expected to serve in the army and the navy. Oh, it's okay, good point. However, women were not considered citizens. So this is the back point again. Also, many foreigners who lived and worked in Athens and merchants and craftspersons did not have the right as citizens. So this is also a negative, a little negative, but besides, there were several thousand slaves in Athens who worked in mines, fields, household, and workshops. They too were not treated as citizens. So there are these points that are not as much negative because you thought that it's a 2500 years ago we are discussing about this type of the democracy, and in present day also we don't expect these kind of democracies in the whole world. In whole world there are 197 countries, and in which many you say 20 to 30, or I think it's a more number that not having the democracy till now. For example, China, they can't have any type of democracy, and it's a developing or developed nation. So the important dates from this chapter is the new kinds of Rajas emerged around 3000 years ago, and Mahajanpadas emerged around 2500 years ago, and Alexander's invasion, composition of the Digha minister is around 2300 years ago, and his soldiers refused to cross the river Byas because of the fear of the Indian rulers. End of the Gana or the Sangha. So the Gana and Sangha is end around 1500 years ago. So thanks for watching this series of lectures of Class 6 NCERT history, and I hope you enjoyed this video and keep following us and get notified for the our next lecture of the chapter 7. So thanks for watching.